Professor Shlomo Maital from the Israeli Technion. Would you please give us your comment about the Israeli high-tech industry? By that I mean, we have seen the Israeli develop into many nice small technology companies, but in the last 15 years or so, we have not seen major Israeli companies develop out of the Israeli high-tech industry. Your comment.
This is a major problem, Izhar. Israel is a hotbed of innovation. We have thousands of startups. Our electrical engineering students dream about starting companies, and many of them do. But the problem is we don't succeed in growing global companies out of these little baby companies. We have one global company, Teva, $11.8 billion in annual sales. In the last 15 years, we have failed to grow a single global company. Our company's exit in the period 2006 to 2008, each year we averaged about 85 exits. How do we get our companies to be built to last and to grow into global companies rather than built to exit? That's the question.
Well, that's a good question. I can give you my venture capital perspective, which is the Israeli VC industry has contributed more than $15 billion over the last 10 years to help establish a vivid and growing VC-backed startup industry across various types of economies. We are talking about an industry that has grown thousands of companies, and within those companies, first of all, we are hopeful to be able to see in the future the next Teva, the next Checkpoint, maybe the next bad data communications company coming out of those small companies. That said, we have to understand that from an economic perspective, the VC industry has its own obligations to return significant returns to its investors, and hence its motivation is somehow different than that of private entrepreneurs.
Exactly. So, Izhar, here's a tough question for you. You're from Canaan Partners, a leading VC company. So you take investors' money and you invest in startup companies and help them, but then you have to pay back the investors. And normally the period is 5 years, which is not long enough to grow a global company. How do we solve the problem of the wonderful VC funding, but yet funding not available to scale up a company into global size?
Yeah, so that's a good question. First of all, the cycle has grown over the last 15 to 20 years. So we today are talking about a VC cycle of 10 years to nurture, fund, and help grow startup companies. Now, Canaan is a global venture capital fund, and that's why we have a perspective as to how to grow companies. We have been part of growing successful companies such as Commerce One and DoubleClick and Copper Mountain and many others, and in recent years, companies like SuccessFactors and Acme Packet and others. So we believe that the right combination of entrepreneurs, smart VC funding, and obviously a good market will eventually provide the appropriate basis for growing significant companies.
Okay, thank you.